Hey everybody, this is Sean V. Bradley, president of Dealer Synergy, BAM, and the creator of the Millionaire Car Salesman Community. And I've got a really amazing guest today. So I've got my man right here, Ace Barrow, and you are tell him what store you're with.
Ed Martin Toyota in Noblesville, Indiana.
And I'm really excited about this because the way that I got hooked up with you is because I work with Toyota in the Chicago region. So I work with your manufacturer and we do a lot of training. Let's start there. How cool is that? Were you guys excited that Toyota brought us in for the entire region to do all of the webinars and education?
I was excited after I attended your trainings. Yes, I became immediately convinced that you are expert and very helpful.
Thank you very much. Which training was the one that was the most impactful to you that I produced for Toyota?
The one that has stayed in my mind the most is the one about becoming your own brand, generate your own business. Be
The
in
macro
business
versus
with,
micro. You like that
yeah,
one?
yeah, with the dealership, but not only with the dealership. Make your own business.
Yes. Okay, so for our audience, what he's talking about is it's actually one of my most recent Toyota Chicago region training education workshops I put on for the region was macro versus micro selling, how to create referrals, how to generate prospects, how to build your brand within the dealership's brand. And I got to tell you, Ace, it's been an honor working with Toyota Corporate. There's 112 Toyota dealerships in the Chicago region, which is Wisconsin, Minnesota, Illinois, and Indiana. And, Toyota is really happy with us. They're, renewing our contract and we're going to be expanding. And I got another major OEM, instead of just a region that we're about to sign up this month. It's a whole national OEM that we're doing. So here's the reason why I'm excited about you, though, is that you're pretty unique. You are an acquisition specialist, which means that you don't sell cars, you buy cars. So your full-time job when you come into the dealership every day is to try to buy cars from the public, not the auctions. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, so tell us a little bit about your background. How long have you been in before we get into acquisition, just give us like a couple minutes of your background. How long have you been in the automotive industry and, at what levels did you participate in?
I am 5 years in the automotive industry here at Ed Martin Toyota. Before that, I had a career of 33 years, and then I decided to retire and ended up, after much reflection, in the car industry, and I've just loved it. I was selling at first, of course, and I was in the 15 a month range from the beginning. And then they asked me to take over this buying from customers thing. And it took a while to get it in place, to figure out what to do and how to do it. But it's exceptional. We have such wonderful customers who have great conversations.
So kind of talk us through the process. How do you buy cars? Because there's people that do it different ways. I mean, like you could use data mining, equity mining. Whenever vehicles come into service, you could put the hangers on the rear view mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your process, your philosophy, your strategy at your dealership for acquisition?
The process is face to face, or it's through using different web platforms. I'll talk about the face-to-face since that's what we've started talking about. I simply rotate through our service lounge, and we average 110 repair orders a day. So we have a large service lounge and a lot of customers in it most of the time. And they really are guests in our lounge. People constantly remark on how calm and quiet. One of their favorite periods of time during a 3-month period is when they have to have service, because it's just a good experience there. We don't have our loudspeakers blaring in there, even though they're in the rest of the dealership. We just try to make it a calm, comfortable environment where people can relax. And then I simply go up to them in a very short sentence, after chit-chatting for a second, if they seem like they want to chit-chat. It's all about, we like to buy cars from customers. Would you mind if I made an offer while you waited?
So let's start with this. first and foremost, your dealership, I think this is important to know, is you're being proactive. There's a lot of stores that only go to auctions or rely on trade-ins. You guys are taking your own destiny in your own hand. You're like, hey, listen, we could make a lot of money, we could save a lot of money, we could increase our inventory, give us opportunities to sell more cars if we proactively, strategically try to buy cars from the public. Fact one. Fact two that you said is that you've got a very, very respected service department. You do about 110 repair orders per day. People love your service department. The CSI is off the hook. And so, you were about to say that you engage people, but I want you to frame this because remember, this is even though we're on video right now, most of the people listening to this is a podcast. So I want you to paint a picture with your words. So what do you do? Do you go through the service writer to get an update on who's who? Or do you or you just walk in there and you just start picking people randomly? Break it down. How do we do it?
Yes, I walk in there and pick people randomly, just as you said. Our lounge has three main sections. I never talk to more than three people at a time in three different sections so they don't get all ready to say no before I talk to them. And I simply say, we like to buy cars from customers. Would you object if I made an offer today? That kind of thing. The two sentences. It's sometimes the wording is a little bit different in the second sentence, but the idea is I can make an offer today while you wait.
And what's the feedback that you get? Like when you and how many people would you estimate that you pitch a day? Did you ask them for if they want an offer?
My goal every day this month so far has been 24. Typically, I try to make that go up one a week. So I'm up to 24 from my starting point earlier this year. It was only, say, 15 to start with because I had to get a new approach given certain circumstances around here. But it's working great.
Okay,
and
so
people know me. They like me. They say, hi, Ace, before I introduce myself to them now, because they're used to me coming up and in a non-threatening way, giving them an appraisal, whether they buy a car afterwards or not. We only ask them if we can do an appraisal. We don't ask them to buy a car.
Let's role play. So let's role play right now. So I'm sitting down. Let's role play. Up me. Don't tell me what you're going to do. Role play. You're live. Okay, up me.
Hi, my name is Ace. I'm the VIP customer specialist here. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good, Ace.
As you know, we like to buy vehicles from our customers, and I can make an offer for you while you wait today.
Is that going to take a lot of time? Like, how long is this going to take?
It won't add any time to the amount of time you'll be here for your service appointment today.
Oh, then absolutely. Okay, so how do we get started?
Simply tell me, do you have two keys?
Yes, I do.
You have two keys. How many keys do you have? And also, what vehicle do you have and what color it is to help me find it?
I have a black 2020 GMC Canyon.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to tell me about it before I find it and start appraising it?
Yeah, it's a Denali package. It's fully loaded, and I put a tonneau cover on the back, and I take very good care of it. We have a fleet of vehicles, so it's got low miles. It's only got about 42,000 miles on it.
That's fantastic. I remember talking with you before here in the dealership, and you're always bragging about your vehicle, so I know you do take care of it. Let me just go do it. It'll take about 15 minutes, and then I'll come back with a number for you.
Okay, perfect. 15 minutes later, pick back up.
Well, we've looked at your vehicle, and we really love it. We'd love to buy it. Of course, you know you've driven 3 times the average number of miles of people. So we had to take that into consideration. But having said that, this is the number we'd like to offer you, and it would really be a fantastic vehicle that we could have in the dealership. We know you've been taking care of it.
Okay, that's awesome.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by Podium. Here's a question. How much would your business change if you had one more employee who worked 24/7 to turn every lead, including the ones that come in after hours, into a test drive, sale, and more money for your dealership? Meet Jerry, Podium's new AI BDC. Jerry is a lead conversion powerhouse designed to respond instantly to every incoming lead, to answer questions accurately, keep leads warm, and schedule test drives, all without direct human supervision. And the best part, with a seamless handoff to staff on the sales floor, customers will never know they were interacting with an AI to begin with. See how Podium's AI BDC can help you sell more cars by visiting podium.com/MCS. That's podium.com/MCS, or click the link in the show notes below.
Ace, couple questions on this. You're buying just yourself alone about 20 plus cars a month from the public. Are these straight acquisitions, or how many of those turn into trade-in deals too? Because that's the other thing here, is that just so our audience understands, there is such a massive value in buying cars from the public because you don't have to pay the auction. If you think about it, if you go to the auction, you're the sucker. No offense, because you're paying more than anybody else. That's what happens when you win the auction. You're literally saying, I will pay more than anybody else. Plus, you've got reconditioning fees, transportation fees, and all these other costs that are there. So being able to buy cars from the public saves you money. But I learned this a long time ago. If you buy the cars right, you could make just as much money, if not more, in buying the cars right than you can in actually selling the cars. So I get that part. I like that. My question is, it's worth it just to buy cars, but how many of the 20 that you buy wind up buying another car from you? Because to me, it's like a blow pop, two treats in one. Not only do you get the acquisition, but you have the opportunity, but it's not an even 1-to-1 ratio, right? So what would you say is the percentage of people that are going to be acquisition versus trade-in?
It's very small. We have many more people that agree to let us put an appraisal on it. And then the thought goes to their head secondarily, but very importantly, oh, wait, if I sell you the car, I'll need a new one or a pre-owned one. But the approach we use is that we simply want to appraise it, because that's only making them make one decision instead of two. If you say, would you like to buy one? Then they have to decide both to get an appraisal and to buy a new car. And we find much more success in turning appraisals into purchase appraisals and into trades when we only ask them if we can appraise their vehicle.
I love it. Okay, now question for you. What other tips or advice can you give us to get people more excited to sell you their car? What advice do you have for other, let's say a dealership is listening to this, or a manager is listening to this and man, we should be buying cars from the public. Let me get my salespeople on this. Let's break this down. If you're going to train people to do what you do, teach us, please.
I think the important thing is to remember that I am always remembering that I do not want to be pushy with these people, because we want them to come back for service the next time instead of staying away because of this obnoxious guy who tried to appraise my car. Very important. That's overall everything. Having said that, I think it's very important to keep the conversation brief, unless they are acting with their face or their mannerisms as though they want to have a longer conversation, whether it's about the weather or about their vehicle. Just meet them in the conversational place where they're at, but start with the understanding it'll just be a very short 2-3 sentences with them. And then try to do the appraisal as quickly as possible without ruining the quality of your appraisal. Those are the main things. And consistency of follow-up is very important. 2 days after I make an appraisal, if they say no, then I call them on the phone and see if they still are going to say no. And then 30 days after the initial appraisal question, I follow up again. And there's a lot of people that say yes on the 30th day that were uncomfortable saying yes previously.
I'm confused because I build VBCs, vehicle buying centers. A vehicle buying center is like a BDC with a bunch of people like you that are just buying cars from the public. And again, I love what you're doing because you have success. But my question is, why are you asking? So let me flesh the question out. I've got a lot of stores that they're when the vehicle comes in, it's part of the standard operating procedure. They basically are automatically appraising the vehicle, and
Yeah,
they're putting a hanger. They have like a physical like brochure that gets put on the rear view mirror. And there's two ways to do this. I've actually seen it that it says, "We want to buy your car," and
hmm
then QR code or whatever, so it generates the lead, to you. Or I've got stores that are super aggressive that are putting the price there because, again, why are we bothering asking? You know what I mean? So again, I know that if we ask, we might be able to filter out who's even more. But if we just make it an assembly line that every single car that comes into service, why don't we put a number on that? Tell me your
that's
thoughts.
that's the goal. We're working toward that process.
Okay, good.
We don't have enough people that want to do my role to be able to do every single vehicle. We do have the hanging tags, as you described, for everybody, but we don't have a person having a conversation with everyone and giving everyone a number every time. What you mentioned would be the epitome of what we're looking at
Don't worry about it.
developing.
You know that we have this 300-person staff call center right now that has, and again, we're doing internet sales, phone sales, BDC, special finance, but we could also do acquisition. So I just want to put that on your radar. Can you imagine having a team of outsourced BDC people? We might be able to help out with that in the future. Yeah,
Well, I'm glad to hear that. We'll have to talk about it at another time, I
yeah, yeah,
guess.
100%. Can I give you a couple other tips?
Please do.
Okay, so I want you to take a look at a dealership called Country Hill. I love bringing them up. So for the people that are listening to this podcast, you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm going to countryhill.com. So if you look at this, Ace, look at my screen. So
Yeah.
this independent dealership, they own two stores in Kansas City. This is owned by Danny Zalofsky. I'm sure that you heard of a company called VinQ. So VinQ, the guy that owns VinQ, the major investor, is a dealer principal. And look at his website. You see where it says buy and sell?
Yes.
This is a used car dealership that's got absolutely one of the absolute best acquisition strategies I've ever seen, to the point where he invented VinQ. So now watch. So look at this. When you go to sell, this whole thing is literally focused on selling people, you know what I mean? Getting people to sell you their car. So this is designed this way. So they have an entire click path on that. Now, the next thing besides this is that Danny, he tells a story that what he does is he develops relationships in the market. So what town are you guys in?
Noblesville, which is a suburb of Indianapolis.
Right. So you're in Indiana. So this is what he does. And this is kind of cool. If you started developing relationships with all of the motorcycle dealerships, the Kawasaki, the BMW dealerships, the Harley Davidson dealerships, power sports, ATVs, jet skis, Sea-Doos, RVs, trailers, because you had to realize, and this is what people don't think about too much at car dealership, all those companies, people buy those products, and you know what they do? They trade in cars. If you are a motorcycle dealership, an RV dealership, an ATV dealership, your business isn't cars. So instead of wholesaling them and losing money, can you imagine? Let's role play. Let's say you are at the Harley Davidson dealership. Hey, Ace, my name is Sean Bradley. I am with ABC Motors, and I am their acquisition specialist. I would love to develop a relationship with you that if you've got somebody in your motorcycle dealership that wants to buy a Harley and they have a car to trade in, don't call me afterwards. Call me while they're in the showroom, and I'll try to put as much money on that car so you have as much gross potential. So you see the difference? If
Oh,
you
yes.
So what I'm saying is, don't just develop a network with these people and then afterwards just be part of the wholesale list. No, be more of a value to them. And think about this. If you're in Noblesville, Indiana, if you look at the geo target, I mean, holy crap, how many motorcycle dealerships are in 10, 20, 30, 40 miles away? How many RV dealerships 10, 20, 30, 40 miles away? How many ATV dealerships, ski-doo dealerships, tractor dealerships, golf cart dealerships, whatever, Vanderhall dealerships, Polaris shot dealerships. Again, if you start developing a network, what they are, those are referral agents. Remember my macro versus micro? If
Yes,
you if you develop a network for acquisition to all of those people, that's what you want. Right now, you're doing all the work by yourself. You're manually, physically grinding it out, going to your service drive. And I love that because NADA says that a service customer is 7 times as likely to purchase or do business where they do business at. You have a great service department, you have a lot of ROs a day, and you have great CSI, but expand your network. Now,
yes.
and to scale, though, you're going to need bodies to help you with all these opportunities. Now, another thing is there's now websites. So if you look at your network that I'm talking about, these referral networks from all these agencies I've just told you about, you have your own service department, which is like a lead source. But then you got to think about VinQ is a great resource. Are you guys using VinQ yet?
We're not.
VinQ is by far the best VBC, vehicle acquisition software on the planet. It's incredible. So, shout out to Danny Zalowski of Country Hill Motors and VinQ. I'll connect you with him afterwards. In addition to VinQ, you've got True Car Trade. Okay. You got Kelly Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. You've got Facebook Marketplace. So those are like lead source providers. So follow me. So you've got the live referrals and agencies. You've got your own dealership service department. Then you've got all those websites and then your own website. When you go to your website, look at this right here. What's your URL to your website?
Ed Martin Toyota. I don't know the exact.
Okay, so look, Ed Martin Toyota. When I go here, okay, here's the problem. I don't know if you see, I wrote an international best-selling book about Google right here called Win the Game of Googleopoly. It's in multiple countries, multiple languages, and we did our thing. I know a little bit something about websites. When I look at your homepage, where does it scream that you buy cars? Like on top fold. There's nothing
Yeah.
on your website that, and I know you're a Toyota dealership in the freaking Chicago region, right outside of Indianapolis. And you guys spend a lot of money in marketing, advertising. Now I'm scrolling throughout your entire website. There's nowhere here that says sell us your car, sell us your car. Now let me take you back to Danny Zlowski. Right here, I'd like to sell my car. Okay. So vehicles. Okay, let's just go through 2020 GMC Canyon. Okay, watch this. Got the Denali. Look at this look, we make it simple to sell your car today. Get the numbers. Our vehicle buying center gives you the info you need instantly. Bring it in. We'll check your car out. Country Road Motors is ready to buy and get paid. Seal the deal and get paid. Simple as that. Do you see how easy this is? You don't have anything on your website. So it's just you, like word of mouth. And that's better than nothing. And I'm going to say one last thing. You heard of a company called CarMax, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So I want to play this commercial in here.
Why do we need a new car? I love this thing.
We thought this was a CarMax.
Beetle Max?
What's a Beetlemax? Beetlemax.
Deo, me say Deo. Scary bad deals just one scream away. Beetlemax, Beetlemax, third time's a charm. Scary bad deals just one scream away. We don't have CarMax, no haggle price, but we can guarantee lots of surprise.
We can't give you CarMax peace of mind, but we'll give you an actual peace of mind.
CarMax!
One scream away.
What do you think? Do you have one in black? Sure thing.
Deo, me say Deo.
CarMax, the way car buying should be. Beetlemax, the way car buying shouldn't be.
So CarMax I love. You know why? Because most of CarMax's ads aren't about selling cars. They're about buying cars. We buy cars. We buy cars. We buy cars. So again, you need to be screaming, metaphorically speaking, you need to be evangelizing that we buy cars. Here at Ed Martin Toyota, we buy cars. Here, I'm A Sparrow. I buy cars. Does that make sense?
It's an excellent point. Yes, it makes sense.
Okay, cool, my brother. Okay, so start asking me questions. What questions can I answer for you?
Let me just put my head together real quickly. Part of me wants to say that there is obviously not very clearly put out way to value your vehicle on our website, but that's clearly not very visible. So I'm
Right.
interested in what VinQ is and how. I've also heard of something called AccuTrade.
So
Are these
VinQ
things the same?
VinQ is a suite of softwares. I'm not their sales rep, but I just have a lot of dealers that are on them. What VinQ does, it's acquisition software. So with VinQ, you're able to see, it's almost like vAuto on steroids. So it does what vAuto does. It does what, a lot of the other software does, but their unique side of things, it's acquisition software. So it's like your own Kelly Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. It's your own True Car Trade. It's your own Facebook marketplace that you have for yourself. Does that make sense?
It makes good idea. Yeah, sounds like a good idea.
I'll have the dealer principal and the owner of the company reach out to you and you guys could connect on it. 'Cause like I said, I'm not their sales rep. I'm just trying to
Oh,
help you
sure.
because I'm really impressed, honestly, Ace, that you're doing as many units just by yourself manually. But I'm going to tell you right now, you're taking 30 minutes to cook minute rice. You know what I mean? Like you're doing a lot, but it seems like it's labor intensive and
Yeah,
there
yeah.
isn't a lot of marketing or technology behind you. And there's so much that you can do to throw rims or add some nitrous oxide to your acquisition strategy.
Sounds great. Yeah, I've gotten a lot out of our conversation. That's why you saw me looking down from time to time because I was taking notes.
All right, and
Um,
then Miss Tiana, T got your keys when she set up this interview, she said that also what you want to be able to do is build your brand within the dealership's brand. You want to do what she did. So she's got her own build a brand website, T got your keys. So if you
yes,
want to be known as the person that buys cars, let me just freestyle for you. So for all of our audience that's listening to the podcast, I want to be clear. Ace is a highly experienced, automotive professional, but he's changed his scope. Instead of his main focus of selling cars, and his main thing is not selling Toyotas, new or used Toyotas. His main thing is buying used car inventory on behalf of the dealership. So he's a full-time acquisition specialist or a VIP customer specialist, but he specializes in acquisition. So here's what I would say. Step one, you need to come up with the brand. Okay. So for example, Tiana is T got your keys. Chrissy Burton is Chrissy the car fairy because she's special finance. She gets people approved magically, right? There's a guy named Jeff Cormier who's just asked for Jeff. My other daughter, who's an F&I manager, is K got you covered. Again, what I would say is try to create a brand that has to do with what you're doing. If you buy cars, I don't even know if this is available, but I would say I buy cars. Like that's the name. I buy cars. I buy used cars. Because can you imagine if by the grace of God, you've went to GoDaddy, and here's what I would do. So for the audience, I would go to GoDaddy, and this is I'm not saying I love this idea. I'm just freestyling off the top of my head. But if
yes,
I go to GoDaddy right now, whatever name that I'm thinking about, I'm going to put in here. Let's go to I buy used cars.com. Okay, that's taken, but you see what I'm saying, Liz? What you want to do is you want to find or we buy used cars. We buy used cars. Okay, so I'm sure, okay, again, it
yeah,
might be .net. It doesn't really matter, but you got to find the brand that's going to perpetuate. You don't want to be confused with selling cars. You want to create something that I buy used cars or we buy used cars, Indiana. You know what I mean? Or something like that. You want to come up with something that's kind of catchy that basically talks about what you do. Acquisition, first of all, is a little complex for like a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
person, but we buy cars, we buy, or maybe even we buy all cars. Or we buy any cars, or we buy any used cars. So there's a lot of different combinations. What you're gonna have to do is just go to GoDaddy and try to find the URL. Step one is the name. Step one, when you're trying to build your brand within the dealership's brand, you want to be able to kind of personify your brand, personify what your service is. We buy used cars, I buy used cars, I buy used cars in Indiana, whatever it is, right?
yeah,
From there, the next step is graphic design. You're going to need to turn around and create some logos and some digital assets. There's two ways you could do this. If you are at Ed Martin Toyota, your dealership might have an ad agency or a graphic person, and you would probably go through the dealership's resources if the dealer principal or GM allowed it. If not, I'm going to show you there's a couple resources that you could go through that are like Uber services for graphics and stuff like that. So one of them is a company called Upwork. I don't know if you heard of Upworks before. Have you ever heard of them?
I have not, but I look forward to hearing from them now.
The Million Man Car Salesman podcast is on your radio.
This has been the most in-depth training I've had in my lot of years in the car business.
We went from 60 cars to 156 cars a month in 3 months.
NAMAD, the entire Toyota Chicago region, as well as the top automotive groups like Koons, Lithia, and Norm Reeves have all used Bradley On Demand to train their team.
They're the most comprehensive training company I've seen, and they by far have the best support system.
Doing 50 cars a month, topped out at 80. I can tell you that the Bradley On Demand training will get you to the next level.
And guess what? The world's #1 car salesman, Cody Carter, shares his exclusive strategies right here. You want his secrets? You gotta have Bradley On Demand.
What I learned from Bradley On Demand is you can teach an old dog new tricks. I thought I knew it all.
I thought it was just going to be the same old stuff. It's all new. It's all fresh. It's genuine material.
Bradley On Demand is just an incredible power tool. Every dealer should take advantage of that.
Our clients love Bradley On Demand. We've generated over $12 billion of additional revenue for our clients.
Went from selling 75 internet leads to we've hit almost 250 the last couple months.
I doubled my income. I sold 21 cars for 4 months straight.
If you're still not enrolled in Bradley On Demand, you're missing out on the best virtual automotive training in the world. Enroll now or contact us for a free test drive of the platform today.
Yeah, so Upwork, if you look right here, Upwork is like, it's like Uber or DoorDash or Airbnb, but as you see this right here, it's for technology stuff. So these are like freelance people. You could do everything from design and creative. So once you have your name, you could go to Upwork, or there's another company called Fiverr, Fiverr. You see this?
Super. Yes.
So if you take a look at this. You could have programming, tech, graphic design, digital marketing, written translation, video, animation, AI services, music, audio, business, consulting. So these are freelance services. This is what solopreneurs and entrepreneurs use when they're there. But again, if you are your own business, we say that car sales or even car acquisition, you are your own entrepreneur. You know what I mean? Like, and if you feel that way, and maybe you're blessed that your dealership is going to allow you to use their graphic design, their ad agency. Great. But if not, don't stop your business. You know what I mean? Don't stop your potential of making money. Don't stop, you being successful because you don't have certain resources, because they're extremely cheap. You could go to Fiverr.com or Upworks, and these are global. So they have artists in India, Pakistan, New Delhi, wherever in Eastern Europe or the United States. And what you can do is you'll see, it's almost like Match.com or Hotels.com. You could see all the different artists or all the different graphic people or whatever it is. You'll see all their projects, all their reviews. And like anything else, I wouldn't go to somebody that's brand new. I would look for somebody that's really cost effective, that's got a good portfolio, and it's got a lot of reviews and projects completed. And this is the way that globalization works. My company, I have a multi-million dollar company, and for certain technology stuff, so I use Fiverr, I use Upworks for dealer synergy. We have a full-blown creative team. I've got a team of video production editors. I got a team of graphic design artists on staff, but I don't want to have a bunch of them. And let's say I get an extra, amount of projects or whatever. I don't want to hire people and go through onboarding. So I'll just Uber service it through Fiverr or there. So now step one is come up with the name. Yes. Step two is get the graphic assets. So get a logo for your new name, get like business cards, get letterheads, start creating social media headers for Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, etc. Get those assets in. And then I would definitely recommend getting your own website. Tiana has T Got Your Keys. Cody Carter, as you know, you've heard of the whole Cody Carter story. He's a Toyota guy like you. Cody sold 1,408 units last year in 2023, and he made $1.2 million selling cars. He's got his own website. So when I show you, I'm going to now go to Cody's website and I'll go through the URL. I think it's here it is. So here's Cody's website. So Cody is cody.tustintoyota.com. So this is his own website. Not that you have to spend this amount of money, but Cody Carter spent $15,000 to have this site custom created, and it's OEM compliant and everything. This guy generates 300 leads a month with no marketing, no advertising, no search engine optimization in any way, shape, or form. So again, he does, full blown digital retailing. I know that your region is really big on Toyota Smart Path. So try to imagine that Cody has the ability for his own website to generate 300 plus leads, to do smart track, digital retailing, inventory integration, all this other stuff. So again, why wouldn't you create your own acquisition website that basically sells the fact that you are an acquisition specialist? You want to buy cars because, and don't forget, right now, you're just, I don't want to say cannibalizing, but in some degree, you're cannibalizing the dealership's people, which is good. I mean, you're going to your service department, but can you imagine if you now expanded this and you just try to buy cars from the general public by creating those relationships in the communities, by creating
Yes.
agents, by using Facebook Marketplace, by doing, there now, you're not just, I think it's amazing what you're doing, but you're buying cars from your own clients, which is a great start. But now can you imagine if you really start like leveraging the community and relationships and referral agents and things like that, the amount of value that you could provide to yourself and to the dealership will exponentially, keep growing and growing and growing.
Yes, very exciting.
Okay. Any questions on anything I've said?
I have to say, I have a lot of questions. I'm also still sorting through a lot of what you said, and my guess is that the answers to the questions have already been said. I just need to resort through what you told me today.
All right. Well, listen, my brother, I want to just let you know that I really appreciate, you guys being part of my Chicago Toyota, family. Again, we're so honored at Dealer Synergy that for the last full year, we've been, providing a tremendous amount of training and education to not only Toyota corporate through the Chicago region, but to all 112 rooftops like yourself. And I love getting to learn what you're doing. I got to tell you, you're doing an amazing job. There's so many dealers that are not maximizing acquisition. And for you as a one person to be directly responsible for 20 cars is amazing. But I think that you could be doing 40 or 50 by yourself if you have the infrastructure put in place that we discussed and the network that I discussed here. Fair enough?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You give me a lot to think about. I have to make it all so that it can be transferable to the person that comes after me too. So without my name being part of it, it's just a lot of wonderful thoughts you've shared with me today.
It's perfect. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to marinate with this. I want you to soak this up. I'm going to go reach out to Danny Zalowski right after we get out of here from VinQ to be able to reach out to you and your organization directly. And then also when you get settled in what your next step is, reach out and we'll help you. Okay. And before we close, I want to just let everybody know that, just some next upcoming stuff that's going on. We're so packed. As everybody knows, I'm going to be flying to Belize for a week to train our call center people. We have a 300-person staffed call center in Belize. Belize is an English-speaking country. English is their first primary language, and it's in Central America. So on top of it being English is their first language, there's a lot of Hispanic people that are there as well, and there's a lot of bilingual people. So we're doing that. October, I'm keynoting. I'm doing the opening keynote at Digital Dealer Las Vegas on October 8th with the future billionaire, Mr. Brad Lee, the CEO of Lightspeed V, and the most recent cover story of Dealer Magazine. Nelson Lyles is the managing partner of the Withers Automotive Group. So in addition to me doing the keynote at Digital Dealer October 8th, Tiana is going to be speaking on the power of video communication. I also have another breakout session at Digital Dealer with Cody Carter and we're going to be profiling how he sold the 1,408 units last year and made $1.2 million selling cars. We'll be exhibiting. In addition to that, that's October. November, I'm super honored to let everybody know that Cox Automotive, and you're going to love this, and so Ed Martin Toyota, Cox Automotive has contracted me and Dealer Synergy to create their entire national one-day workshop we're going to be doing in Chicago. So in November 5th to the 7th, we are going to have a major national Cox Automotive VIN Solutions Mastermind one-day event. I'm talking about keynotes, speakers, performance managers, panels. It's going to be a masterclass on everything VIN Solutions. That's going to be in November. In addition to that, I can't tell you who it is, but we just are locking up another major national OEM. So in addition to Toyota, we are going to announce another major manufacturer that we're partnered with. That's coming in probably in before we close out the year. Then obviously we've got NADA that we're going to be speaking at. Tiana's going to be speaking. LA is going to be speaking. We're going to be exhibiting. And then we have a bunch of things we're going to be doing in the Chicago region with Toyota. We're planning some regional events in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Indiana. And then we're going to do our next major IS20G conference in the fall is going to be in Chicago. So guys, we're doing extremely well here. We're putting on a ton of dealers, and we love all of our listeners on the podcast. Make sure that you guys, become members in the Millionaire Car Salesman Facebook group. We're about to break 29,000 elite mastermind members. So listen, it was great, Ace, to be able to have you, my friend. Part of the show. You have a lot of value, and it was awesome getting to know you a little bit more than I did. And I wish you continued success.
Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely, my friend.
Fast response times can help you beat the dealer down the street. Get a tool that can respond to your leads in 15 seconds or less and help you book test drives 24/7, nights and weekends, so you can sell more cars. Podium's AI BDC is a conversational AI employee who sells, schedules, and talks with customers day and night and sounds like your best sales rep. Transform potential interest into sales today with Podium. Visit podium.com/MCS to see what AI can do for your dealership. That's podium.com/MCS or click the link in the show notes.